For me, there were few Columbo episodes more hotly anticipated than Murder with Too Many Notes. After a gap of over 2 years, the lieutenant was finally back, and with a case focused on one of my own obsessions, film scores. But the episode proved disappointing. A muddled script, a cartoonish Columbo, uninspired direction, uninteresting set design and costuming, and an especially baffling rooftop finale.
What is this? Some kind of charade?
19 years later, you can still find fresh discussions about today's echoes of Columbo, the ending of Murder with Too Many Notes. The killer is Hollywood film composer Findlay Crawford.
From now on, you will call me Findlay.
Whose best work, including an Oscar-winning score for a film called The Killer.
The one you won the grand prize for? This one?
Yeah, he's famous. He won an award.
Last time I was driven, the limousine was on the way to the award.
And Mr. Crawford here, he won the big prize for one of them, which was the basis for someone winning Hollywood's highest award.
Was actually written by his talented but neglected apprentice, Gabriel McHenry. Egged on by his girlfriend Rebecca, Gabriel threatens to expose Crawford's hackery. So, Crawford tells Gabriel he'll give him his due credit at an upcoming concert, but drugs him and hides him on the rooftop where, during the concert, he uses an old studio elevator to catapult the lad, or at least a very unconvincing dummy of him, to his death. There's no shortage of clues provided.
I love clues.
Gabriel didn't scream when he fell, his shoes are the wrong size, the key to his house is missing, and his baton is gone, an oddity to which Columbo gives inordinate attention. The baton is found at the bottom of the elevator shaft, and Columbo notices a musical inscription on it, love notes between Gabe and Becca. The notes are a huge part of the final scene where the lieutenant sums up all the so far circumstantial evidence against Crawford, and that's it. The ending establishes that Gabriel was certainly murdered, and when you get right down to it, who would have had a motive to do that but Crawford? But there's no big payoff. The love notes don't really mean anything. Crawford just smirks, resigned to his fate.
I'm resigned to my fate.
It's one of the most frustrating conclusions in the show's run because the potential for a really good episode was there. The fizzle-out ending ruins it. Too Many Notes was written by Jeffrey Cava and Patrick McGoohan, based on a story by Cava. Rumor has it that the script underwent extensive rewrites by McGoohan, most prominently the ending. Some even claim to have seen an original, unaltered script which supposedly contained an ingenious clincher. But all these years later, that fabled ending has never been revealed, leaving it all just empty speculation. But let's look at that ending a bit more closely. When Becca is playing the seemingly unimportant love notes, Columbo has Sergeant DeGarmo write them on the chalkboard. We never see him writing beneath the second set of notes, but when we cut back, there they are. We can also see some pretty heavy eraser marks, as though this scene was filmed a few times. Something made even more obvious when it cuts from blazing daylight to evening shadow. Other portions of the episode appear to have been sliced and edited, like this earlier scene between Crawford and Gabe.
I had a little news I thought you might be very interested in.
You said you had some news?
Or this. Before taking Crawford up to the roof, Columbo asks him for the time, and he rattles it off to the second.
3:21 and 11 seconds.
You sure that's right?
It's never wrong, it's digital.
This is an obvious callback to Crawford arriving at the studio gate and establishing his alibi by asking the guard for the time.
Precisely 7 minutes and 14 seconds of 8.
This is a classic clue. See Dale Kingston at the art show, or Harold Van Wyck at the art show. But Columbo never follows it up. Another possible cut. How about other odd, go-nowhere details, like Gabe drinking from bottles?
Can't you use a glass? I thought we'd weaned you off that bottle over the years.
Or this very specific info from Becca.
He kept it in a brown envelope.
So there's the distinct possibility that the ending was tinkered with, reshot, and slapped together in a rush, oddly mirroring the episode's plot, with Crawford's attempt to score the end of the fictional film Corkscrew.
I got a big premiere date for this baby coming up, and I need it finished pronto.
So beyond these unsubstantiated tales of a secret ending, what can we piece together? Well, in Columbo's summation, he connects Crawford's theft of Gabriel's Oscar-winning score to the murder itself, almost as though he has proof connecting the composer with the theft.
Because the motive to steal Gabriel's score is the same as the motive to push the button, make it go up, and throw the kid off the roof.
Indeed, when Crawford initially steals Gabriel's house key, it's filmed in slow motion for emphasis. The scene where he enters the house feels like one of those late episode cover-ups that proves to be the killer's undoing. Witness similar scenes like Danziger planting the gloves in Troubled Waters, or Uncle Jarvis and the gun in The Greenhouse Jungle. We can assume then that the key and score stealing is critical to the case. Immediately after the theft, Columbo finds the baton in the elevator shaft. Then Rebecca tells Columbo that Gabe wrote the score for The Killer, but it's missing. Gone. Now we have all the information the lieutenant had going into the climax, and by his logic the solution must prove that Crawford did not write the score to the killer, providing him with a motive for both theft and murder. We have to go back to the title, Murder with Too Many Notes. It is the love notes, especially the ones that Columbo shows to Crawford, written by Gabe himself in the style of a musical score. Because while Becca's baton inscription and the chalkboard notes show a low E,
G-A-B-E.
Gabe's response to Becca ends on a higher E with a fermata or hold, something often used at the end of a piece of music for dramatic emphasis. Gabriel's love notes to Rebecca are likely the ending of the unheard score to The Killer, a personal message from the young composer to his love, and indeed too many notes for Crawford to account for. So maybe there is a bit of truth to that secret ending theory after all. Isn't there a parallel here? That veteran series contributor McGoohan, whose plume of hair and beard do resemble Crawford, would supposedly have rewritten the ending of the episode, altering the script by the younger Cava? This original script, edited script scenario sounds just too similar to the original score, altered score concept that really is central to the episode's plot. It seems almost certain to me that somewhere on the cutting room floor is a scene of Columbo listening intently to that Oscar-winning music, something we saw him do to catch, you guessed it, Patrick McGoohan in Identity Crisis, and Robert Culp in The Most Crucial Game, and picking out those love notes at the end. I've come to see Murder with Too Many Notes as a late-period Columbo gem, more intriguing because of its flaws. Next time you see it, watch a little bit more closely. Maybe see if you can figure it out.